Welcome to the Departments walkthrough. This video explores the new department functionality introduced in IPP version 5.2. We will review a model configured to support departments, create departments and assign users to them in the participant management view, and then walk through a processing scenario where work items are assigned to participants based on process data. Let's discuss a few key points about departments. A department is a runtime element representing a logical business unit. Work can be assigned to particular departments based on process data. The process data used to determine the department binding can be specified for organizations in the model. This process data can be either a primitive data of type string or a structured data with an access path that evaluates to string. So how does this work? We'll demonstrate the department functionality with a walkthrough of a simple loan approval scenario. The business requirements of the scenario are as follows. Loan approvals must be routed to the correct officer by the requested loan amount and location. Loans under $10,000 can be approved by any sales agent. Loans between $10,000 and $20,000 must be approved by the appropriate branch manager. And loans over $20,000 must be approved by the appropriate regional manager. Let's switch to the Eclipse modeler to review how this process has been modeled in IPP. The Enter Loan Request activity is a manual activity where the loan request data is entered for the process. Let's take a look at the loan request data. Expand this out. Here we see the first name, the last name, the requested amount, date of birth, address, region, and branch. By expanding region, we can see that there is a north, east, and west region. And if we expand branch, we see East Village, Chelsea, and Upper East. The branch, region, and requested amount data is leveraged to assign work in the next step in the process. A standard transition is set up to route the process to the approved loan request or the approved loan request branch manager or the approved loan request region manager activity based on the requested amount. Loans with a requested amount of less than $10,000 will go to the approved loan request step. Loan amounts between $10,000 and $20,000 are routed to the approved loan request branch manager activity. Here we see this condition expression, transition condition expression, $10,000 and $20,000. Loans over $20,000 are routed to the approved loan request regional manager activity. And I'll open up this transition. Here you can see the transition expression is set to route when the requested amount is over $20,000. So standard IPP transition functionality is used to route loan requests by the requested amount. But how does each request get to the correct branch manager or regional manager for approval? Well, this is where departments are used. Departments are set up on organizations, and in the model there are three organizations: corporation with a sales agent role linked to it, region with the region manager linked to it, and branch with the branch manager role linked to it. The organization scope is enabled and defined in the department binding property of the organizations. So let's configure departments for the branch organization. So I'll double click branch, click department binding, mark organization supports departments, Next, I'll specify the data used for assignment. The data can be either a primitive data of type string or a structured data with an access path that evaluates the string. We will use the structured data loan request. So let me select loan request and the data path branch. Click OK to save the configuration. Now we have just bound this data to the branch organization so that we can assign work based on that data at runtime. Similarly, the region organization has been bound to the region data. So let me click the region organization. You'll see that the organization support departments is marked. The loan request data is used as well, and we're our path to region. We can now close the model and switch to IPP to create departments and complete the setup. I'm going to log in as administrator Motu. And switch to the administration perspective. Open the participant management view. And I'm going to temporarily hide the active users so that we can concentrate on the participants tree. The participants tree is a hierarchical representation of all participants, including the model participants, which are the organizations and roles, the runtime participants, which are the users and user groups, and the relationship between them. So here we see the corporation organization, and underneath is region. So now we're going to create a department for one of the regions, in this case the East region. Now the ID must exactly match the data that you're using for the department binding. So in this case I'll enter capital EAST. The E in East must be capitalized because that's the way my data is set up. However, the name and description can be arbitrary. And the name and description can also be changed or modified once the department is created, whereas the ID cannot. Okay, click apply. So here's our East region. If we expand this, we see there's a branch organization underneath that. So let's create a branch. Create another department. Let's create the Chelsea branch. Again, this must match exactly what is set up in the data. Click apply. And here we have the Chelsea branch. Now let's associate some users with the branch and region that we just created. User association is a simple drag and drop process. So let's expand back out the active users. And let's assign Karina Eichner as the branch manager of the Chelsea branch. So let's drag down to the Chelsea branch manager. And there it is. I can associate any number of users to the role using the same process. So if I want to associate Marcy Emler, I can also associate her. Now let's add Hugh Fairfield as the East Region Manager. Okay. Notice that under the East region there is a default branch. This is a catch-all branch for items that are identified with the East region, but the correct branch cannot be determined. Either because the branch data is not supplied or it's not valid. Let's put Lori Hebb to this role. Similarly, there is a default region for items that require approval of a regional manager, but the correct region cannot be determined. So that would be this region. And you can assign a region manager there. Also, there's a branch manager for the default. The branch default is for default items that should be assigned to a branch manager, but neither the region nor the branch can be determined. So these types of items will go to whoever set up for the branch manager here. Now that the region and branch manager is set up, we'll need to add a sales agent to handle loan requests under $10,000. So we will drag Kelly Wibble down to sales agent. And our setup is now sufficiently complete. Next, we'll start a few processes and follow their assignment to the sales agent, branch managers, and regional managers based on process data. I've logged out as Administrator Motu, and I'm going to log in as Sales Agent Kelly Wibble. Start a loan approval process. For this scenario, we're going to enter a requested amount of $25,000, which should assign the item to a regional manager for approval. Okay, so we enter first name Lonnie, last name Vix, $25,000 for the requested amount. And I'm going to select the East region and the Chelsea branch. So when I complete this activity, this should go to the regional manager for the East region. I'm going to log out and log in as Hugh Fairfield, who is the regional manager for the East region. And here we see under my assignments for regional manager, East region, one item. So let's click this and see if it is the item we just created for Lonnie Vix for $25,000 loan. And indeed it is. So what just happened? Well, first, based on the requested amount of $25,000, the transition set up in the model routed the work to the Approve Loan Request Region Manager activity. And then the department binding assigned the item to the region manager for the East region based on the region data being East. Okay, so now I'm going to log out and log back in again as Sales Agent Kelly Wibble for another scenario. I'll log back in again as our Sales Agent Kelly Wibble and start another loan approval process. For this scenario, the requested amount will be $15,000, which should assign the work to a branch manager. So our user is Javier Saraceno. The requested amount is $15,000. And as before, I will select the East region and the Chelsea branch. We'll complete the activity. Log out. And now I'm going to log in as Chelsea branch manager Karina Eicher. Under my assignments, branch manager, branch Chelsea, there's one item. This should be the item that we just created for Javier Saraceno's loan, $15,000. And there it is. So in this scenario, we see that by using different data values, we can assign work to not only a different activity, which in this case is the approved loan request branch manager, but also different user based on the region and branch data points. So let's log out and log back in again as sales agent Kelly Wibble. I'm going to log in as Kelly Wibble once again. And start another loan approval process. For this final scenario, we'll enter an amount that should route the item to a branch manager for approval. Once again, this loan request is for Rosalind Rada, $16,000. I will select the East region. But this time I'm going to select a branch that we have not created yet. Okay, in this case, the East Village. Click the icon to complete the activity. Log out. Now I'm going to log in as Lori Hebb. Lori is the branch manager for the default branch for the East region. And underneath my assignments, you see branch manager, region East, one assignment. This should be Rosalind Rada. It is a request for $16,000 that's been moved to the approved loan branch manager and routed to Lori Hebb. So what just happened? So in this scenario, the system knew the activity and region because it had the $16,000 for the activity, for the requested loan amount, East for the region, but the data for the branch was invalid. We selected a branch that we had not yet created. So the work assigned item was then assigned to the branch manager of the default for the branch for the East region, which we set up to be Lori Hebb. This concludes our walkthrough of departments in the Infinity Process Portal. This functionality is available in IPP versions 5.2 and later.